Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Good morning. Are we ready to begin?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to call to order this meeting of Monroe County Board of Commissioners. It is Wednesday, March 2nd, and we will begin with our public statement read by Commissioner Gibbons.
Good morning. There's a reason I'm wearing blue and yellow today. And as we get ready to read this, I'd like to acknowledge what's going on in the Ukraine and to state that I am in solidarity with the people there. And I imagine that my colleagues are as well. So we, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, renew our commitment to welcome and protect the rights of all people, regardless of age, race, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, marital status, economic status, and national origin. And we affirm the right of every person to live peacefully and without fear, and we will fight and resist at every step discrimination and harmful policies, whatever their source. We also stand in support of our county public school systems, both RBB and MCCSC.
Thank you so much. I will note for the record that all three members of the Board of Commissioners are present today. And we move on to our department updates. And we have Ms. Cottle here. Good morning.
Good morning. Today, I just want to share a few things about some changes in terms of metrics and what we're looking at. This week, the 2 metric score on our Indiana map will fall into yellow and just miss blue by a tiny margin. So we kind of did that last week as well, just barely missed it. Remember that the advisory map will not move to yellow because of that 2-week requirement before those change colors, but also remember that the sharp declines of our current situation make that measure less relevant than it was when we had lots of roller coaster numbers. This week, our cases per 100,000 fell below 100 and into double digits. So excellent news. The positivity rate fell to just under 6%, and it's continuing each day to go down. Overall trends for hospitalization, symptomatic testing, water sampling data all continue to indicate declines. Our rolling daily average of cases is now around 20, and the last time we saw that number was in October. So if my little book of numbers looks like when I went back that October was the last time that number was in the 20s. So it's been a while. This past week has had lots of changes. Now, so far, there's been no change to the federal requirements for public transportation overall. That may come mid-month. We're waiting to hear more about that. But the CDC did change school bus requirements and make that more of a local decision based on local numbers and circumstances. So that was a more recent change. With the shift in the pandemic phase, the CDC has also changed metrics used to determine disease burden and recommended mitigation measures for counties. The updated CDC guidance looks at the number of new cases, which they did before, but it groups them in less than 200 cases per 100,000 or 200 or more cases per 100,000 in the past week, based on provider reporting. The CDC also recommends including hospital data, so new COVID patients who are admitted and their bed capacity, along with other things that we would be looking at, right? All the things that we have been looking at, reports, maybe from schools, from our water sampling, just various things that we're seeing. One thing that I think is very important, because I've already had some people comment or ask me about this, with the CDC, when you are looking at their levels, you're going to see that it says that we are high, but remember that data always has a lag time, right? Always. We're always looking back to figure that out. The CDC data that's posted has a greater lag time than our state and local data. So we're looking back a week or two, and the CDC is then looking back a little bit further. So it's important when you look at those levels to keep that in mind. And the converse could be true. So it's going to take us a while. It's going to look worse a little while longer, right? Until it catches up. And if we were to take a turn for the worse in the future, we're going to look better on that CDC page than we really are currently until that catches up. So just keep that in mind. And one example that I want to give you, this week looks like we should be right around 43 cases per 100,000. Excellent number. Last week we were at 175, but February 16th, we were at 310 cases per 100,000. So you can see that the CDC is really looking more at that mid-February number, right? As opposed to just last week. They are updating on Thursdays their data. So again, it's not changed daily, it's changed weekly. So we'll continue to assess our local data, including our hospital data and all the other data sets that we have been as we continue to make decisions about our community level. The recommendations for wearing masks when in indoor public places is when the community level is high. Of course, there are times and circumstances when individuals should be wearing a mask based on their own personal risk, regardless of the community level. As masks become more optional, it is important to remember that many people will choose to wear a mask for their own safety, for the safety of a family member or a friend, and some people will wear them simply for their own level of comfort. That's okay. Masks optional. Let's respect each other's choices in that and not assume that somebody is wearing a mask for, let's just assume that they are wearing it because they're trying to protect somebody else. They have an underlying health condition. Let's give everybody the best of intentions. Testing does remain available, although state-funded sites are beginning to close. Coronavirus.gov is still your best place to find testing options. Your providers, pharmacies still are options as well. The Gravity site here in Monroe County is open Monday through Wednesday and Friday, 8 to 4. They're open on Thursdays, 10 to 6. They're no longer open on the weekends. Our local vaccination rates could be higher. They are hovering around that 60% mark. Can't quite get them to go much higher than that at the moment. So please know vaccinations are available, and ourshot.in.gov will help you find the best vaccination site to meet your needs. And we will continue to provide updates through social media, our bi-weekly press conference, these meetings, and our webpage as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cuttle. Great to hear the good news. We hope it sticks. And next we'll hear, let's see if there's questions from Commissioner Giffens.
No, I was going to ask where people could go get tested and get vaccinated, and Ms. Cottle answered those questions.
Commissioner Jones?
I'm just glad that we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Again, we appreciate all of your help and your department and the board, and throughout all of this. It's been a couple years now, and so this is really good news to have, and we're hopeful for the future. All right. So any other departments have an update for us today? Don't see any. We do have a proclamation for today.
Yes. Whereas women of every age, race, class, sexual identity, sexual orientation, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of Monroe County in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas women have played and continue to play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every aspect of our community, by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home. And whereas women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force.
Sorry, and women have been particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in Monroe County and across the nation. And women have served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. And women have been leaders, not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, including the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all.
We want to honor and acknowledge the expanded role women are playing in all sectors and all levels of government by celebrating our first female president and the nomination of a Black woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. We rejoice in seeing women in these new positions as they serve as role models for all. And we recognize the work of the Monroe County Women's Commission in its efforts to assist women's equity at the local level. We, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim March 2022 as Women's History Month in Monroe County. And thank you, Commissioner Githens, for that. We appreciate your work on that. All right, so next we have public comment. Public comment is reserved in this section of our agenda for items that are not on our agenda. The time limit is 3 minutes. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you will hear a tone. And when you hear that tone, that means you have 30 seconds to complete your comments. I will also note that we would ask you for your name and whether or not you are a Monroe County resident. It appears we have commenters at the NetU Hill Room. If they could please proceed.
Hello, my name is Leslie Green. I'm the CEO for Stonebelt ARC here in Bloomington, headquartered here in Bloomington. I am a Brown County resident, but I feel like I more or less live in Monroe County because this is where I spend most of my waking hours. I wanted to talk to you today and let you know, if you don't know at this point, that I will be retiring as of April 1st and leaving my position. I have been with Stonebelt for 42 years. I've been the CEO for half of those, for 21 years. And in relation to women in leadership, Stonebelt has been led by women for all but 15 years of its existence, which is now over 60 years going. We also have 10 director positions, and 9 of those are occupied by women. I think we've done really well. And we have people that are very, very dedicated to what we do. And even though the last 2 years have been some of the hardest of my time at Stonebelt, we persevere and we can carry on. And we hope that we're seeing the end of the kinds of issues that we've been dealing with. I wanted just to give you a quick overview of what Stonebelt does. For those of you who may not know in the listening audience, Stonebelt is an organization, as I said, headquarters in Monroe County. We do have locations in both Lawrence and Bartholomew County, but well over 75% of the work we do is here. In pre-COVID times, we serve about 1,300 people in a year, and we're getting back to that, although our numbers are a little bit down from that. And here in Monroe County, we have about 70 to 80 people that we support to live in their own homes, in their apartments throughout the community. We also have 8 group homes that have 5 to 7 residents who live in neighborhoods all through the community. We have employment programs that have well over 100, 150 people who are either looking for work, who are working, who need ongoing supports and training. So we're very, very committed and involved in that. We do operate a facility here in Bloomington. Oh, actually, we have 2 facilities, but the main one that that your support offers it to is our headquarters at 10th Street, where we have lifelong learning courses, both classroom and community experiences. We also have a work program there where we do about 5 million pieces a year for Cook Medical and Cook Urological. We have a variety of people that go out and do volunteer work in the community. So we are about here and about Monroe County quite a bit. I said that when I first started at Stone Belt in 1979, it was kind of a place for people to come and be safe. Now I feel like Stone Belt is more of a launch pad, a place for people to come and learn what they need to know and to move on and do what it is they want to do in their lives. Some of them need little support from us ongoing. Some people need 24-hour, 7-day support, but we tailor our services to their need. So I did want to thank you for the support that you have provided over the years. I know that our funding comes through the commissioner's budget. Appreciate that you've included us every year. This has been going on since Charlotte was sitting in your role, Charlotte Zitlow. So we've had a really good working relationship with the county in all these years. And I just wanted to have my personal thanks to you for all you've done to support Stone Belt in the many ways that you have. I also want to introduce my successor. For some of you, this may be not the introduction may not be necessary because Bidda DeWeese, who the board has chosen to take the CEO role starting in April, has been with the organization for 31 years. She's led our employment efforts and has created what I think is one of the best employment programs for organizations like our kind in Indiana. And she has also been very, very involved as our Chief Operating Officer for the past year and a half, 2 years. So she knows the organization well. The transition is going very well. I'm giving her the little bits of information that I might have in my role as CEO that she might not know, but she's very, very quick to learn those few things that she needs to, and to help make sure that our organization carries on in a very, very successful way. So again, thank you. And Bidda has some comments to make as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Green. I'm so glad you're here, and we cannot thank you enough for all of your hard work. 1979, wow. That's amazing.
Appreciate your comments.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Ms. DeWeese, from all of us too.
Thank you very much. As Leslie said, I am Bidda DeWeese and I am a Monroe County resident. And I'm so excited to be taking over the CEO role at Stone Belt as Leslie retires. It's some pretty big shoes to fill, as many of you know. She's been an incredible CEO for Stone Belt. I look very much forward, though, to being only the 4th CEO Stone Belt's had in our 62-year history. I do have a long history with Stone Belt. I'm passionate about the services we provide and the clients and families that we support. During my 31 years, I have been involved with every program that Stone Belt runs. So some more than others, employment obviously being where most of my experience has come from. So I too want to extend my thanks to the commissioners for the funds that Stone Belt has received over the many years and your support of Stone Belt. I also want to take just a couple minutes of my time to give you a little bit of information about where we are currently at Stone Belt and where we're headed. The pandemic has been an incredibly challenging 2 years for us, keeping clients and staff safe, figuring out how to navigate things, and right now figuring out how to sort of climb back into the services we used to offer, bring clients back that are still at home with their families and get support to a lot of our families. So that's been a very challenging time. Our number one issue is staffing, finding staff, training staff, keeping staff. I know that's a community-wide issue and a nationwide issue, being able to fill the positions that we have. As I mentioned, I've been in employment for most of my career, and I've never seen it be this hard to hire staff, and we can be challenged to hire staff in the best of times. So we're working very hard on that. We're making progress, and we're trying to help people find careers at Stone Belt and recognize the great job that that can be and the rewards that come from helping somebody build a life that they want. And I also want to talk about some of our initiatives we're moving forward with that I'm really excited about. As we plan for the next couple of years, we're really focusing particularly in Monroe County on changing our service model within our day services to be more of an employment first focus. So within our facilities, Leslie mentioned we have our work program where we do extensive work for Cook Medical. We're working in our other day programs to convert those to training programs that work on work skills. So what I call the soft skills of work, the skills that you need no matter what job you're going to work in. So whether that's your social skills, your communication skills, your conflict resolution skills. And we can do that within the context of pretty much any activities somebody's participating in. So for example, if you're in an art program, you certainly can be producing art, but you can also work on getting along with others. So as we make that shift, our real goal is to help more and more of the clients we support find meaningful work or find meaningful activities that are based on what they want to do and what their career plan might be. So I just want to end with thanking you for your continued support and hope that I can be a resource to you as you may have disability issues come up in our community, and that you can always reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, congratulations, Ms. Green, on your retirement, and congratulations, Ms. DeWeese, on your new role. We appreciate your hard work, both in the past and the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's see if there's anyone on Zoom who has a comment to make. Please raise your hand on the screen. All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next item, please.
Move approval of the minutes from February 23rd, 2022, memorandum of executive session of the Board of Commissioners and County Council, February 22nd, 2022. And that's all.
Second.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have a motion and we have a second. Any comments, corrections? Okay. Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on approval of minutes for February 23rd, 2022, and for the memorandum on the executive session from February 22nd, 2022?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Move approval of claims docket, accounts payable March 2nd, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have Mr. Miller here to tell us all about it. Good morning.
Morning. The total for claims was $606,452.95. $153,133.26 was for wheel and surtax distribution for December. $103,195.03 was for innkeeper's tax collection distribution for February. And $48,600 was for purchase of right-of-way parcels for the Fullerton Pike Phase 3, as well as numerous sheriff deputy wiper blades, oil changes, batteries, and lights, things of that sort.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Miller. Any comments or questions, Commissioner Githens?
Yeah, I noticed there were like a couple of pages worth of fleet maintenance expenses.
Yes, that's why I felt the need to explain that. Minimal amounts, but yeah, about 4 to 5 pages, I believe.
Yeah. Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Is there any public comment on this item? If there is, please raise your hand on the Zoom screen. All right, seeing none, we'll come back for a vote. Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on approval of the claims docket, accounts payable March 2nd, 2022?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will note for the record that we have received a report from the clerk of the circuit court for January of 2022. And we've also received the weights and measures report, which spans January 16th to February 15th, 2022. And with that, we will move on to new business.
I move approval of Automated Doors and Access, Inc. for election operations at 302 South Walnut Street in an amount of $5,945 in an amount to be determined, or in a fund to be determined.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we have Mr. Crone joining us. Thank you so much. We've got a few items for you, but we'll start with this one.
Good morning, commissioners. And for everyone that's listening, this is not deja vu. I know we've been hearing a lot about election operations at 302 South Walnut, but this is just another part of that. In order to improve accessibility for all at the location and to get us into compliance, we need to install 2 electric door openers on the front entry and exit doors, as well as 1 exterior ADA push button actuator and 1 on the interior. And this is for Automated Door Access, who we currently use to provide support and installation for our other applications and other buildings to get those implemented for us.
Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Giffens? Commissioner Jones?
Just thank you for working so fast.
We're trying.
Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. All right, seeing none, Mr. Copper, will you please call the roll on the Automated Doors and Access, Inc. Agreement for election operations?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Giffens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
All right, next item, please.
Move approval of Choose Premier Painting LLC for election operations 302 South Walnut Street in an amount of $9,850 and a fund to be determined.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Crone?
Yes, this is pretty straightforward. The location is obviously the old Napa building, which is now a faded denim color of blue. So we wish to repaint the exterior of the building in colors that go along with the color scheme that's in that downtown location. There would be a primary building color and then a trim accent color. Part of the work that'll have to be done is pressure washing of the mold and mildew that is on the exterior of the building. So that is to clean up the building and paint the entire exterior for us.
Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Giffens?
Yeah, I was going to, my only question was what color are you going to be choosing? Or colors, I guess. Yeah.
Well, the clerk had requested muted colors. The areas around there are earth tones and grays. So I was going to get paint samples and leave that for future discussion on what color we go with. The color we choose doesn't affect the price of the paint. So we just hadn't made that determination yet.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I'm just very pleased that it'll be repainted. It will fit in quite a bit better, I think.
Yes.
All right, is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, Mr. Copper, will you please call the roll on the agreement with Choose Premier Painting LLC for election operations?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Giffens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next item, please.
Move to approve everywhere signs for election operations at 302 South Walnut Street in an amount of $13,250, a fund to be determined.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Crone again, please.
Yes. The front of the building currently is just exposed directly to the elements, and it was requested by the election board and the clerk for an awning to be provided there to protect the voters from the elements. This is a quote from Everywhere Signs here in Bloomington. to install an awning that will run the full length of the front of the building and will extend out approximately 7 feet from the front of the building, which actually will cover that front walk. I've already discussed with the city and we have the green light from them if we choose to install that awning. Total for labor and the awning come to $13,250.
Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
Yeah, I had to read about what this kind of awning was. Is this going to be cloth or metal or?
This will be a canvas cloth awning that's over an aluminum frame that will be mounted to the front of the building. So consistent with what you see with a lot of the business fronts in any street here in our town.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes, I'm sure the voters will thank you for this.
I hope so.
Yeah. So is the color to be determined, I would assume, based on the building color?
Right now, tentatively, we've chosen a royal blue color. Again, the color won't affect, but with the colors that were in the area, that's just what we use to work the quote up. But we can change that if the color determination is made that blue will not match with it.
Okay. And any lettering on that?
No, this is to keep for time constraint, trying to get it put together. This doesn't have any lettering, badging, anything on it, just plain nondescript.
Good, that makes sense. Thank you. Let's see if there's any public comment on this. Raise your hand on the Zoom screen, please. All right, seeing none. Mr. Copper, will you please call the roll on the agreement with Everywhere Signs for election operations?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes,
Motion is approved, 3-0.
All right. And next item, please.
Move to approve Strausser Construction Company, Inc. proposal for construction and remodel of election operations at 302 South Walnut Street in an amount of $42,845. The fund to be determined.
second,
We have a motion and a second, Mr. Cron.
Yes, so in order to facilitate to make this work for election operations and also to meet ADA compliance codes due to the use of the building, some light construction or remodel is going to be required to that location. One item to be done will be the construction of a 12 by 20 ballot room. Additionally, we'll be adding a second ADA compliant bathroom, bringing the current bathroom that is there up to ADA compliance, and the addition of a mechanical room, break room at the end of the office space that's located there. So Strausser Construction, Michael Chambly had drawn up plans for us, and Strausser Construction has agreed that they can meet the April 5th deadline to complete that construction. So this is a request to approve the proposal from Strausser.
Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
I was amazed that they could agree to get this done by April the 5th. That was just, oh, wow.
He was very
We're very
pleased,
lucky.
very pleased.
Commissioner Jones?
I agree with Commissioner Githens.
Yeah, you did so well to find a contractor that can get this done. And I'm assuming that all of these other elements are also slated to be done before that date as well.
Well, one of the things with the awning, since the outside of the building is going to have to be pressure washed and painted, we were going to hold off doing the awning until that work was completed, so we don't mess up an item, a pricey item. So weather is going to be a factor in how we get the building painted. They're going to go ahead and come in and clean it up for us, but depending on how the weather does will depend on how quickly we can get the paint on. They are trying to get ahead of that April 5th schedule with the paint, but like I said, weather will determine. I have to attribute some of the success on how quickly we've been able to bring this together. The contractors I've reached out to and the public has been very responsive because of what this facility is going to be to try to accommodate us on this. So I really have to tip my hat to everybody we're working with on trying to pull this together.
That is excellent, excellent news. Thank you again so much for organizing all of this, all of these components, all these spinning plates, and not dropped one. So good for you. Thank you for that. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You raise your hand in the Zoom screen. It looks like we have one commenter, Candace. If you could verify your name and let us know whether or not you're a Monroe County resident, please.
Hi, yeah, this is Candace, and I am a Monroe County resident. I just had one question on all of these updates. Are they mainly just structural in terms of what was discussed, the awning, the additions, what you mentioned? Are there any elements that have anything to do with voting machines or anything like that? Or are these mainly building upgrades?
Thank you, Candace. These are all just building upgrades. We already have voting equipment in place.
Right. Yeah, I figured there's already voting equipment in place, but obviously I wasn't sure if any of the updates or upgrades had anything to do with anything else.
No, they don't.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. I don't see any other public comment. And so with that, Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on the agreement with Strausser Construction Company, Inc. For construction and remodel of election operations?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you again, Mr. Crone. You've done great work. Appreciate it. Our next item is a OSHA 300 report on workers' compensation loss run. And we have Ms. Sensenstein here to tell us about it. And I don't know that we need a motion, Mr. Cockrell. Do we need a motion on this? Is this something we need to approve?
I think this is for your information only. I don't think it needs approved.
Great. Thank you so much. Ms. Sensenstein, would you tell us all about it?
Sure. Good morning, commissioners. This is an annual report that I file. It's due today, but I filed it a few weeks ago. And so in the packet is the actual filing that I did, and then the sort of a summary of the data that comes from IPEP, the folks who run our workers' compensation program. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you so much. Comments, questions? Commissioner Githens?
Yeah, there's been a big jump in some of these claims over the last year, right? And do we know why that's happened?
I don't think that usually I talked to you, Penny, yesterday, and usually there is like a yearly comparison at the top, and that wasn't included for some reason on the report this year. But in 2018, there were 49 claims, 2019, there were 40, 2020, there were 36, and then in 2021, there were 44. I think that in 2020, the number went down because of COVID, but I think that 44 number is the average. But there were 4 claims in 2021 that accounted for the majority of those costs, and they were just a little bit more severe claims, if that makes sense. And so that's why those amounts were a little bit higher. I think our incidents are pretty consistent. We still want them to be less, but I think that there were just some high claims in 2021.
Okay, thank you. It was actually the dollar amount, not the number.
Yeah, I think due to the nature of those injuries, they accumulated more costs.
Well, I hope our workers then are completely healed.
Mr. Jones?
No, I don't. Thank you.
I have a quick question. What is the NOC designation on a number of the lines?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I can answer that. That actually stands for not otherwise classified.
That would have been my guess.
it.
Thanks, Jordan.
Good, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Mr.
Teamwork. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, that makes sense. Not otherwise classified. Good. Thank you so much for that. All right.
Yeah, and those classifications are set by IPEP, and so
Right.
some of them are a little strange in comparison to the departments we actually have. Like,
Right.
yeah.
We don't really fit into their categories all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. Excellent. All right. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. All right. I don't see any. Thank you for that. And now we will move on to item F.
Move approval of proposed personnel policy handbook updates.
Second.
And Ms. Sensenstein, would you tell us all about this?
Sure thing. We talked about this in the work session a couple weeks ago. I sent it out to the prosecutor and the judges for their approval, and they have approved. So now it just needs formal approval here at your commissioners meeting.
Well, thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
Well, I want to thank Ms. Sensenstein for putting all the recommended changes in red. It made it much, much easier and the strikeouts for those we were taking out. So no, it looked very thorough and made it, I think, more consistent.
I cannot take credit for that. That was Lee Baker in the legal department has been working on this very diligently. So I think it helps him too to see them in red.
Excellent. Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right. Yes, it was great work. And thank you, Mr. Baker, for your great work on this too. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Please raise your hand on the Zoom screen. All right. Seeing none, Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on the proposed personnel policy handbook updates?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you so much. We don't have any appointments today. I just have a few announcements. We do stand in solidarity with the people of Ukraine and the terrible ordeal that they're facing. And as such, we have lit the courthouse in blue and yellow to show our solidarity with the people of Ukraine. So you could see that at night and think about the struggle that they're facing in a really difficult time ahead. We do have office hours with members of the Board of Commissioners. There are 6 different opportunities each month. Just go on to the calendar at co.monroe.in.us and find the instances on the calendar and join the meeting. You'll be placed in the waiting room to begin with. And then you'll be brought in to have a one-on-one conversation with one of us. We're really happy to provide this service to our county residents. And it's your opportunity to offer comment or to ask questions of any of us. So we look forward to speaking with you. We do have some board and commission openings. Go to co.monroe.in.us to see the application form, and you can fill that out and send that in. And we also continue to support the townships with the Township Assistance Fund, which is available to help those who are struggling to meet the basic necessities of life due to COVID. And if you do need assistance for things like rent and utility bills, please contact your township trustee. Every resident in the county lives in one of our townships, whether you live in the city, a town, or neither. You can find that information in our minutes each week, It's on the emergency management page on our website, and it's also available at by calling 211 or going to in211.org. I will note as well that there are blood drives scheduled for March and for April. Tuesday, March 29th, 10 to 3. Wednesday, March 30th, 1 to 6. Monday, April 4th, 10 to 3. And Tuesday, April 5th, 1 to 6. All of these are at Ivy Tech. Big thank you to Ivy Tech for hosting. To make an appointment, go to redcross.org. And it appears that we will be returning to the Nat U Hill Room for our meetings, and all of our boards and commissions and other entities will be returning to in-person meetings. So you can see that great shot of the Nat U Hill Room with all of our technology set up. That's awesome. We appreciate and really are grateful for our technical services department, Mr. Evans and your whole team, for getting us to this point where we're going to have meetings that are going to be both virtual and in person. And that means that when there's still infection in the community from COVID, we encourage you to attend meetings via Zoom. You will be able to provide comment, and you can conveniently join from outside our facilities. This goes for all of our boards and commissions and all of our public meetings. Yes, we will be in person, but just to help continue to protect the public and keep our incident rate down, we do encourage you to attend virtually if that's convenient for you. If not, you are welcome to come back to our buildings, our facilities, the beautiful Nat U Hill Room in the courthouse, for example. So see if my colleagues have anything else to offer.
I wanted to wish Kate Petroline the best of luck. I believe she's leaving us soon. She's been our Director of Emergency Management and one of the people that's put together these blood drives that have proven to be very, very beneficial to the local or to the region, actually. She wanted to be closer to her family, and we all understand that for sure.
Yeah, I think as the pandemic's taught us that. Yes, I appreciate you raising this because you're right. Her last day is Friday, isn't it? I kept thinking it was next week. It is Friday this week. Yes, thank you, Ms. Petroline, for all of your hard work for Monroe County residents. She was assistant director for quite some time under Allison Moore, and then was promoted to the role of director. And she's just done an amazing job. And we're really happy for her and sad for us. This is what I told her in an email. So, but we will miss her and we appreciate her service. All right. With seeing nothing else, can we come back at 11 a.m. for our work session? It's in about 10 minutes. Looks like we have one item on that work session. Okay, excellent. Thanks again, TSD. And with that, we're going to adjourn our regular meeting and we'll come back at 11 a.m. for our work session. Thanks, everyone. All right, we ready to begin? I'm going to call to order this work session for March 2nd, 2022. And we have one item, Mr. Myers, ordinance 2022-04.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I'm going to share my screen here. For the work session, I'm just going to be sharing the packet that you should have received. And then for the formal session, I will be, excuse me, I'll be presenting a more formalized PowerPoint and go through more detail in that respect. So we'll just kind of go through this one. If you have any questions off the bat, let me know and we can get things figured out for the formal session. So this is the 440 East Sample Road rezone. It's a rezone request from Agricultural Rural Reserve to general business. It's a 1.647 acre site, and it's in Washington Township, section 34. So the purposes of this rezone is that the petitioner is seeking to establish a Dollar General on the site. From Planning Department review and the issuance of a use determination, it was determined that this specific type of Dollar General that was described would be classified as a grocery store. And the only district that permits grocery store is the general business zoning district. So this obviously went through multiple committee meetings. So to the PRC to be reviewed through the comp plan. And then it went through the Plan Commission, which received multiple meetings. The PRC initially reviewed this and decided to forward it with a negative recommendation, stating that it didn't follow along with the comprehensive plan for the area. And then the Plan Commission, after several meetings on this petition, eventually voted to forward this with a positive recommendation of 5-3. And there were some commitments, or excuse me, some conditions of approval that were attached to that recommendation as well. So I'm going to go through some of the brief details here of this petition. So here it is on East Sample Road. As you'll note, its proximity to I-69 and the newly established interchanges and off ramps here. Currently, as I stated before, it's zoned Agricultural Rural Reserve. There is some limited business to the west of the property. A good portion of these parcels, however, have been taken by the I-69 corridor. So this one where my cursor is right now, that one was taken by the state, and maybe a few others of these ones in here. But there is some commercial activity in the area, or at least close by. Site conditions. Currently the site contains an approximate, actually, I don't believe that is there anymore, but there used to be a manufactured home on the property and a utility shed. The petition site is currently serviced by a septic system and access to East Sample Road, which is designated as a major collector roadway. There's no floodplain, and there's no evidence of karst features at this time. The proposal for the Dollar General is essentially a 10,000 plus square foot structure that will be providing a wide range of items to the public. So it classifies as a grocery store under the use determination through Planning Department review, as I stated before. We do have some stormwater comments and highway department comments here as well. But those would pertain to the commercial site plan. That would be the next step if the rezone were to be approved. A lot of these items would be covered in that review so that we would make sure all the requirements of the commercial site plan would be covered. Slope on the property, pretty much non-existent. This is one of the older aerial images that shows where the mobile home was. And here we have some a little bit more updated. I think these are from 2020. Just going through a couple of these, and we have some on the ground photos as well of this petition site. You'll note that the road improvements kind of taper off right at the end of the property. There was a lot of conversation about that in the plan commission meetings, kind of stating that the road improvements and widening of the road is here already. I think that led to some of the more positive recommendations from plan commission members, is that it seemed that at least the road infrastructure was present for some commercial activity. These are just some photographs on the ground from street view. The comprehensive plan has it designated as rural residential. So again, the PRC, the Plan Review Committee, had initially stated this, or had decided that it would be a negative recommendation to the Plan Commission based on the comprehensive plan designation of rural residential. And we can come back to that if you have any questions regarding the comprehensive plan. Here we have the petitioner's letter, basically stating that they are looking to construct a Dollar General that will be 10,640 square feet. And then here we have a preliminary site plan. Again, they're not held to this. This is kind of just for reference purposes. This is the type of thing that we would review administratively for the commercial site plan requirements. And I have it zoomed in a little bit here as well. So you can see the structure here and an adequate amount of parking, lighting, landscaping, design standards, all that sort of stuff that will all be covered in the commercial site plan review for this petition if it were to be rezoned. I also have some exhibits down here that I can also include in the presentation for the formal session that just has some of the permitted uses that are current in the zoning district for Ag-RR, as well as what would be technically permitted in the general business zoning district if they were to rezone. So a lot more commercial uses permitted in the general business zoning district, of course. Which brings me to some other items. I'm actually going to skip up to the top here real quick to show you some of the conditions of approval from the Plan Commission. This is a typo here, if you'll note. It should be 5 to 3. I apologize for that. But when the Plan Commission voted to recommend a positive recommendation, they included 2 conditions of approval. The first one being the written commitments as authored by the petitioner and included in the Plan Commission staff report be recorded. And then 2, that a pole sign be prohibited at this location and a monument style sign be selected. So basically in those written commitments that the petitioner has provided, and their exhibit in this report as well, is basically stating that the site will be general business for the purposes only for a grocery store, and that any other respects for use on the property, it would be considered as limited business. And that's one of the things that the Planning Commission members were kind of looking for, some sort of limitation on the broad scale or broad scope of uses that are permitted in the general business zone. And this is this right here, this exhibit in front of you is that written commitments that the petitioner has provided. A few more exhibits I want to touch on before I'll take questions. Exhibit 5, we have just some locations in the county of nearby grocery stores / convenience stores. And this is just a Google search on Google Maps of locations. The location of the petition site is right here where you see Wayport and that blue little icon there. And this was a big conversation in the Plan Commission. I'm kind of figuring out where a good place for a Dollar General would be, if this would be a nice location for that. Kind of looking at whether or not members of the public would have to travel far to get small grocery items or other items that would be sold at this location. This next one here, this is nearby convenience stores / gas stations. So it's a little bit different. You see some things like Speedway, Pop-Up, Marathon Gas, that sort of thing. So just another visual aid to see spatially where convenience stores or that sort of thing can be purchased. And then this final exhibit here is just a list of current and future Dollar General stores that will be operating off of a commercial septic system. During the Planning Commission meetings, there was discussion about this property not having access to sewer and it being such a large structure. So that was definitely something that received a lot of talk and communication about. And this exhibit here was provided by the petitioner in stating that they have multiple locations currently operating on commercial septics for Dollar Generals, and then have some also slated to be built in 2022. Okay, I think I will now take questions.
Any questions for my colleagues?
You answered the one I had.
So the planning department originally recommended against approval because of the lack of the sewer access, right?
That was one of the components. There were a number of components that planning department had recommended a negative recommendation from the planning commission. So yes, that was one of them, just because of the size of the structure.
And in the list of places where they have put these other stores that are on septic systems, do they have the kind of underlying bedrock that, I mean, limestone areas that we have? Because that does impact how well a septic system will work.
Sure. So I can't speak for all of these locations, but we do have a Bedford, Indiana, which I would imagine has a similar soil structure that Monroe County does. But as for the other ones, I could not speak to.
But we don't know how well the septic system in Bedford is doing either, though, right? Or not?
I cannot speak on that. The petitioner might be able to look into that information for the formal session, and we can request that if you'd like.
Okay. Couple of other things. Have we heard anything from the neighbors in that area?
No, there actually has not been any letters submitted to the planning department. And if I can recall, not very many, or if any at all, people have come to the meetings for this area.
Okay. So Elevate Monroe County lists Donald Richardson as the current owner. Is that still correct with Mr. Is it McDonough? I don't know how to say his name.
McDonough, yes.
McDonough. He's the developer, or is he intending to buy this if the rezone goes through, or what's the situation with that?
Yes, so I believe it is a purchase agreement sort of situation. Mr. McDonough is a representative of Dollar General, I believe, that is looking to purchase the property from the current owner and then work through the development stages of this process if it were to receive the rezone.
Okay. Yeah, I acknowledge the fact that that is sort of a food desert up there, but we also don't have, it's not a densely populated area being so close to the Morgan Monroe State Park either. So, yeah. Thank you. There's things I guess I need to scratch my head about with this one. Thank you.
Okay. I believe we have a planning related item coming to our agenda next week with the scrap metal recycling ordinance change. So I'm wondering if that is still going to come to us next week, if you want to wait 2 weeks to bring this back.
Okay, yeah, whatever works for you and the scheduling.
Okay, my colleague's okay with that? All right, 16th would be great.
Okay, March 16th.
All right, okay.
Okay,
very good.
will do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else from any other departments? Let's see any. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn our work session. Thanks, everyone. Please get vaccinated.